Welcome back. You're watching Buy Now, Sell Now on ET Now, and time to talk about earnings. At Quest Corp that came out with its earnings late last night, where they posted a revenue growth of about 33% on a year-on-year basis, and PAT also seen an uptick of about 49%. However, the margins are the one that has actually seen a dip on a year-on-year basis. The margins have come in at around 3.8% versus 4.9% on a year-on-year basis. We're now joined by Mr. Guruprasad Srinivasan, who's the Executive Director and the Group CEO at Quest Corp. A very good morning to you, Mr. Srinivasan. Thank you so much for joining us on ET Now. And let's talk about the quarter going by. What have been the key drivers for your revenue as well as profit growth in Q1, as we've seen that you've logged in 33% growth on a year-on-year basis in revenue and 49% growth, a year-on-year growth in profits?
Okay, so we just announced our result, and our headcount is up by 27%, and our revenues are up by 33%. And EBITDA of about 4% year-on-year. Our PAT is up by 52% year-on-year. That's a key summary of our financials. This has been one of the great quarter in terms of our headcount addition. We have added almost about 30,000 plus net adds into the system. So the main driver comes from BFSI segment, followed by telecom and retail and manufacturing segment. So these are the core sectors which are giving. So retail is something that I would love to call out. There are more activity. There are more footfalls into the retail post-COVID. After Q3 and Q4, and we are seeing substantial demand coming in from that particular segment.
Okay, Mr. Srinivasan, could you also tell us what the long-term outlook is on general staffing? Are you confident of achieving 20% headcount growth in general staffing business? What's the outlook here?
So, if I were to really look, specialized staffing is part of our, workforce management, and currently we have deployed close to about, in India about 10,000 plus people, and we clock a margin of almost about 16 to 17%. It's pretty much doing well. But what happens generally, since it is part of our larger workforce management, which is general staffing growing aggressively, and they operate at a low margin. So in the mix, actually, it takes the average and it averages out. So, but otherwise, independently, that business is doing really well for us, both selection and recruitment.
Right. Let's talk about performance in other segments. What's the outlook on performance from the emerging business? If you could also talk about Monster.com and QJobs, how has the growth been in these two segments?
So we have two call-outs. One is, of course, slowly there is a revival for this segment after maybe, I think, after almost 8 quarters. ITS used to be the dominating factor in this space. Slowly people returning back to work. That's a good green shoot for us. And going forward, since both security and facility, we had a dominating position in that. We are now reviving slowly and inching towards redeployment of resources. However, we did, renegotiate on one of our large contracts, to which, on a long-term basis, to which our margin has slightly come down. I'm sure we will stabilize where we are currently, about 5% specific for operating asset maintenance, and it would slowly inch up from there as we scale up. So, but that's the kind of margin profile at where we are currently today.
All right. Now, you had guided for 21 to 23% CAGR for FY22 to FY25 for all key verticals, workforce management, technology services, and operating asset management. Does this remain?
So, they are a startup business, and they're in an aggressive growth stage currently. So Monster has done fantastic, and they've done about 53% in terms of their sales growth. Of course, they'll continue to grow aggressively. There are a couple of things that are happening in Monster. The entire product re-engineering and giving a better experience to both recruiters and candidates. That's our key agenda at the moment, and we are able to see that scaling extremely good. So, for example, the number of search by a recruiter a year ago was to be about 3 million, and now we are almost about 9 million. So, which means more people are trusting the system and working on in terms of getting more out of Monster. So that's a good sign for us as we move forward.
All right, and with that we come to the end of Buy Now Sell